Hello everyone, my name is Umu, and welcome to my eaJ. eaJ's? eaJ. I'm gonna go with eaJ. eaJ, Pinocchio. Wait, shit. Wrong song! My eaJ Pac-Man reaction. If there are any non-My Day fans watching this video, eaJ is an artist who debuted back in January of 2020. You may know him as Jay from Day 6, and he's been releasing some solo songs once in a while for the past seven months. And so I apologize for not reacting to any of his stuff earlier. This is me just assuming something, but these songs just seem like he is handing us like little precious pieces of his soul. Is that too cheesy? It felt as if each one of these songs might have been, you know, a special project for him and something that maybe I shouldn't approach from analytical, technical, reaction, and the analysis point of view, you know, and just to sit back and enjoy it as a My Day. So that's what I did with all the releases leading up to Pac-Man. And then I saw I should say eaJ. And then I saw eaJ join in on Dre's live stream, and Dre reacted to him, and then he released this song. And then I got a bunch of fan requests on Twitter asking me to react to this. So you know what we're gonna do is we're gonna wrap ourselves with a blanket. We're gonna grab some water, and we are going to marathon this amazing new artist called eaJ. And sit back, relax, enjoy, low-key analyze, and then we'll make it to Pac-Man. And just so you know, before we dive into the marathon, I have heard these songs at least once before, but not with these headphones and not with my analysis brain turned on, so I might notice new things in this listen. First, January 16th, LA Trains, with subtitles in the description. Oh yeah, this is the one where everyone like doesn't know what he says at the very end. 3, 2, 1. Did he go to a train station to get those sounds? The guitar rhythm, very comforting. Oh, I didn't notice this before, but he adds an octave lower to the vocal melody right before the bass comes in. That's a really nice touch. I love that little synth. Oh, I remember my first thought after listening to this song for the first time was like, damn, I wish it was twice as long. So the ending lyrics, we don't know what it said, right? Close my side? Side. All my time. This vibe I feel like I could listen to endlessly on repeat. I'm so thankful to Jay for releasing these songs because remember it was either in Jay's podcast or when Young K took over Eric Nam's podcast, which if you aren't already listening to Jay's podcast, it's called How Did I Get Here? And I will link it in the description. It's wonderful, 10 out of 10, must listen to. But they said Day 6 music, let me see, I think I wrote down the quote somewhere. My music is to play to the world, not my music played for me. That's what Young K said. I'm curious, Jay, is this your music played for you? Because it's cool seeing Jay's specific style in these songs. With his very gentle, lyrical, airy vocal presence. which I feel like we hear very rarely in Day6's music. Maybe the first thing that comes to mind is Afraid's bridge. I'm so afraid. The way he sings those lyrics can link to this style of singing. It's very intimate. So many, like, effect on his voice, layers, the bass part, do, that movement. And then the panning between the headphones. This is 220, right? Yeah. Many thanks to 220 for this production. It's great. Okay. I thought this was gonna be a quick marathon, but here I am. Okay, next was Other Side, released January 30th. 3, 2, 1. Ba-da-da. Ba-da-da. Man. This has a very circular phrasing. Da, 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 da. Sometimes I just call, I know you won't pick up. Can't ever help myself and try. Scared just get alone, so every night I hope I see you on the other side. Because when the notes, like a specific musical phrase comes back, it's very natural. Yo, I forgot so much of this! Ooh. They did some cool post-editing on the synths for that transition. Yeah. Yo, okay, what I wanted to say at the beginning of this, but I didn't want to talk over anything, was, so I started listening to music completely different after 2 hardcore years of music theory at Eastman. Sometimes I can listen and vibe out to music and not have my, like, active listening analytical brain on. And that's what I did with these releases, because I've listened to this song before, but because I'm in my reacting mode, because I'm, like, trying to pick upon the, melody and rhythms and textures and harmony all at once, I'm noticing so many more things. And I'm like, oh my god, I don't remember this happening. Everything, it's so detailed, it's so layered. Like, we had, like, a little synth answering the guitar part. Syncopated. Da, da, da. And then I love, when Jay, like, smiles while he sings. Example, Day6's Time of Our Life, when he smiles in the bridge. Yeah, I love that. And then, let's go back. Change. It's sudden, but also subtle at the same exact time. Yo, Other Side, man. Okay, Guess Not is definitely the one that I've listened to the most, because a lot of my days replied to eaJ's tweet with a bunch of memes using this song, so.
Feels like God's been upset all night long. Rain won't stop pouring.
2, 3, 4, emphasizing the quarter notes. Leaning into that note. More. I love the octave, the main melody is in the middle, and then there's an octave below is on the right and left. Or the harmony, lower harmony. New melody, and then we add in the trap hi-hat. I so desperately want full versions of these songs, or just them uploaded on iTunes, because that's where I listen to all my music. So this melody is that's a motif from earlier. Yeah. 'Cause I told you. Oh yeah, the appears before the section. Oh, this is my favorite section. He's just really feeling himself. It's that octave. Why does that hit us so hard? Because we have the color shift here. It's really close and quiet. And it's literally just voice, right? Voice at that part? Yeah, the instrumental drops out, and then we add in the octave below, so it's like color shift. And then we just explosion of sound, sudden slower rhythm, right? Because da 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 da. I'm really curious how naturally all these songs came to Jay, because they sound so effortless, but they're also so incredibly detailed, right? Because so many times he could have just looped something or just repeated the exact same thing that had just happened before. But every single time something comes back, I feel like there's something different, which is just like, yeah, adds to the brilliant musicality. eaJ, Pinocchio, February 27th, 3, 2, 1.
She calls me on the weekend when she got nothing to do, or heavy on the alcohol.
They always put the perfect amount of effect on his voice, a little reverb this time.
Say that I don't love you. It's always since my noise.
Is there reverb? I'm gonna
Why'd you take my heart?
It sounds, you know, like he's in a room instead of really close to the mic. He really likes the instrumental change whenever he goes up into falsetto. Did he play the guitar for this? Oh, just kidding. It's different that time. There we go. What does this shirt say? Spread good vibes? Yeah. I really like the bass sounds in this one. It's like that pre-chorus, I believe. Yeah, that's probably. That pre-chorus gave me. I feel like this side of Jay has appeared not only because of the instrumentation, but the melody too, and the certain changes between sections. This side of Jay has appeared in Day 6's music.
Yes, you've always been honest to me, but been
Is he the one harmonizing with himself? Oh,
stuck silent,
it sounds like a different timbre.
but been can't get off the island.
That it? That might be him. Oh, because that when the harmonies earlier does sound like his vocal timbre, but that sounded like as if it was a darker sound. I wonder if they affected, because you know sometimes when there's an octave or 2 octaves below the melody, they just add that like, man, I took recording arts class for nothing. They just pitched it down. I want to buy these. I'm not sure if I've heard Rose before or not. I think January, February, March. Oh yeah, March is when, around the time we started social distancing, wasn't it? Yeah, that's when I kind of just stopped listening to things. Maybe I in the back of my mind, I was secretly actually planning on reacting to these. So yeah, let's go. Rose reaction, 3, 2, 1. Yep, I've definitely not heard this before. Good chords!
For the times when they hit you, face down in the ground with the wet sword, flat seas, but the true never grow fat. Shouting, they all got you on mute. When they got you thinking maybe.
Ooh, I like that chord.
Crazy. All the tears played up.
I like how the trap hi-hat starts muted and then it clears up. Jay really likes the pitch down octave below.
Makes sense, but don't you know that nothing's really ever beautiful?
Ooh, yeah.
Broken windows, what you see depends from when you said your I could say my on the floor, or it might just be a rush.
Oof. Whoa. It is only with the heart that one can see rightly. I read that as righty. Wow. Man, you know, it's been a long day and this song is perfect for the end of a long day. It's comforting, it's spicy at times. When he is singing, he's really on the back of the beat, meaning he isn't articulate and moving forward, you know, he's just relaxed. It's like, I'll get to the notes when I want to, you know, that type of singing. Oof, chef's kiss. 50 proof. 3, 2,
Do you still wait the sun?
Oh, I've heard this.
Eat home alone, watching the moon rise, asking on and
Yeah.
on.
He never ends little bits of melodies exactly where you think he's gonna end them.
How you've been doing? You sleeping alright? I worried it's easy to wake you up at night.
Night.
You know why, but you don't know why. At the same time.
This makes me want to cry.
Hold you on, you're 50 proof high. Been worried all night, wondering all night who loves you now.
Ooh. bigger harmony this time. Ooh. The chord hit at that time resolved what he was singing in the vocal harmony.
From your eyes, from your sighs, who loves you?
Wait, what was the bass note for that? 6, 3. What chord's that? What has 3 and a 6? So that ended with 2 scale degrees 3 and 1 scale degree 6? It's too late at night for me to be thinking that technically. Okay, but there's one specific writing technique that he did in this song that I am so incredibly obsessed with, and whenever it appears in any song, I fall head over heels in love with it, is keeping the same melody over and over, and every single time you repeat, you hit a different chord, so then when you're singing these notes, the feel changes every single time. Even though you're repeating the same note over, the harmony underneath is changing, so you feel it differently every single time. I am so obsessed with that. Another way of doing that, instead of just like singing the same melody over and over and then changing up the chords, is just like, you know, singing like da 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 da, and then underneath is like da 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 da. So like keeping one note repeated over and over, and then changing this other note that's harmonized with it. So while this is going like this is going like, and so it just like constantly changes the feel of the repetition, and he really does leave us wanting more. Okay, Truman, April 23rd, 3, 2, 1. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4.
You hit me in the morning, say yesterday was boring. When the hell you call me?
I like the effect. We have like a wah sound.
Always the excuses. My heart in blue and bruises. It's just holding his breath.
Sounds like you're hitting a one box. Like I said, texture change when he goes into falsetto. Hello, auto-tune. Yeah. There's that affected octave.
This might be my final song. I love my girl. She knows.
Yet another song I didn't want to end. That percussion in that song. Do-da, do-da, do-da-da-da. Do-da, do-da-da. I love that percussion in that one. I think around this time in the marathon, since I've had my active listening power turned on, I think I've got a good idea for what Jay's sound is as an artist, and I look forward to when going back to listening to Day 6's stuff, especially if Younghae, Sungjin, and Wonpil start releasing solo songs, so then we can pinpoint kind of where they've added their own personal flavors to it, or where they've just combined flavors like a giant soup. Anyways, what you guys came here for, probably Pac-Man, the high note song. Guys, like, I'm not even surprised that, you know, he hit a G5, because Day 6 has no range limits, honestly. Like, ever since I feel like Shoot Me era, they've just been expanding their range higher and higher and higher and higher. And there's no limit, y'all. There's no limit. Okay, Pac-Man. 3, 2, 1. Fade in. Ooh. Ooh. Triplets.
You never pick up unless you got nothing to do. But you say that you want me, but just I want you. Over and over like it's over.
Oh.
Your games ever be through. Play me over and over.
Oh, I love that leap. No.
Then you run out of quarters soon. Don't hide me, leave me. No, I don't mean that. Love me all the way today. It's killing me out. Fear is holding me down.
Oh, the violins!
I'm about to the crowd. Singing by the smile. If I die, it's with you.
Yeah! Be right back while I go cry my eyes out. Written by eaJ, arranged by 22 Django. 22, good job. Namu-kwan Django. Yo, so those strings were synth, huh? Or MIDI. They're really well. I think it's the reverb that hides the synthetic sound of them. Yeah, the mixing engineer did a really good job with arranged by 22 and Django. They did a really good job of producing the string parts and just giving it movement and depth in life, because so easily when using MIDI string sounds, they can sound incredibly inhuman, but that was a really nice touch and round, and yeah, that was the perfect explosion. The high note. Perfect dynamic change. Bruh, okay, I want to go back to the beginning. I love how they edited the piano. Of course, and then that switch there. That's so good. Because they added in an extra synth hit when the piano hits, which almost covers up the piano hit, because mainly when I hear the piano hit, it's more like the swell after it. So it's like, it's like they cut off the beginning of the note, but sidechaining ? But also I think the attack is still there. It's just lined up with the other synth, which makes it sound less like a piano attack. It's very muffled. And then this. Change of instrumental. You never pick up unless you got nothing to do. But you say that you want me, but just I want you. Over and over like it's over. Will your games ever be through? This melody is so much more flitting, I feel. Like, it's kind of like a butterfly if you think about it, flitting on the wind. Or no, maybe a bird, because this part would be like when they're like stretched out, not moving their wings, just gliding on the wind. And then yeah, we had the cello crescendo to this section, which is so much more huge. Snare. And then, yeah. So satisfying. This is going on my satisfying high notes playlist. Oh man! All of these songs, I don't know, all of them have so much heart in them. At this point in the video, I don't know what to say. Jay, if you're watching this, oh sorry, eaJ, eaJ, if you're watching this, I saw in your video live stream that you said reaction videos have been getting you through some tougher times. Never in a million years, or at least for me, I never in a million years thought the musicians themselves who we were commenting about would actually watch our content. But I'm so happy that while you provide comfort for us, we can provide something for you. And one single reaction video can represent thousands and thousands of people's reaction to the song too. You are moving mountains, my friend. You are moving mountains and mountains of emotions and thousands of people, and we really do wish the best for you. If these songs are ever added to iTunes, I will buy them up, but if they aren't, that's also fine too. And I hope you keep doing what you love. Many thanks to the My Days who stuck around for this whole marathon, but definitely some of my favorite stuff in 2020. Till next time. Good vibes only.